After the torn meniscus Ariel Hukporti suffered last week, Knicks insider Ian Begley gives us his take on who the Knicks should pursue to fill out the 15-man roster. What's up, guys? It's your boy Dariel, and before we get into today's video, I want to remind you guys that around 69% of you guys are not subscribed to the channel. So please, whatever you're doing right now, hit that subscribe button. That'll be a really big help, and that'll be the perfect way to stay up to date with all the news, the injury reports, any free agent rumors, any trades, post-game videos, all that good stuff. This is the place to be. So based off the intro, you guys know that we're going to be highlighting PJ Tucker. But before we do that, I want to talk about Ian Begley's tweet that he had yesterday, talking about some free agents that the New York Knicks might be interested in. Of course, PJ Tucker is one of them, but we also got Mo Bamba. We also got Marcus Morris Sr., Taj Gibson, of course, who's always going to be rumored to the Knicks. But this is part of the tweet that really caught my eye. Ian Begley goes on to say, "Just my opinion from being around the NBA for a few years, Knicks should take a hard look at PJ Tucker. The 39-year-old gives New York something it doesn't have right now, a veteran in the locker room. PJ Tucker, a 13-year vet and NBA champ, would, in my opinion, be an influential, impactful voice in the locker room." Now, something that stands out for me in that tweet is 39 years old. PJ Tucker is not LeBron James, so if you're 39 years old and if you're going to be the 15th man on that roster, you're not really looked at to try and contribute anything to the team. But PJ Tucker is an interesting case because PJ Tucker has that championship experience, like Ian Begley said in his tweet. Whenever you have any sort of championship experience, you're going to be able to give knowledge to your teammates on what it took in order to win, the sacrifices that you had to make in order to get to the promised line. And if us Knicks fans, if we're being real, we're looking for a championship. With all the moves that we made with Mikal Bridges this offseason, giving up 5 first-round picks, giving up Bogdanovich, the trade that we made for Cat, we made some pretty big moves. And me personally, I think if we get to the Eastern Conference Finals, I think it'll be a success. But the Knicks fan base, we're a rabid fan base. Everybody sees that we have a good team. I think it's clearly 2 tiers in the Eastern Conference. The first tier is the Boston Celtics and the Cleveland Cavaliers, and then the Knicks are in that second tier. They're going to be the first team in that tier, but there's definitely levels to this, and the Knicks are just not on the level with the Cleveland Cavaliers and the Boston Celtics. But going back to what some of the Knicks fans are expecting this year, which could be a finals appearance, a championship appearance in the NBA Finals. And if we have PJ Tucker as that 15th man on the roster, he's going to be able, like I said, to give information to Jalen Brunson, to Cat, to Josh Hart, OG, Mikal Bridges. And Josh Hart, Mikal Bridges, and OG Anunoby, it does remind me of PJ Tucker, not in the basketball sense. Basketball skills, OG, Mikal, and Josh Hart, I'm taking those 3 over PJ Tucker any day of the week. No offense, PJ. But as far as being looked at as a defender, as far as being somebody that's looked at as who's always going to be in your nose, in your shirt, just super annoying, like Josh Hart, Mikal, and OG, specifically OG, that's kind of what they made their name for. They made their name for being a defensive pest, and that's what PJ Tucker has made a career in the NBA for so long. Speaking of career, PJ Tucker for his career averaged 6.5 points, 5.4 rebounds in the 7 teams that he's played for in the NBA. Those teams range from the Toronto Raptors, Phoenix Suns, the Houston Rockets, Miami Heat, Philadelphia 76ers. But the championship came when he was with the Milwaukee Bucks. And specifically, what really pops out to me is, I believe when the Brooklyn Nets faced off against the Milwaukee Bucks in that year, KD was going off. And I remember PJ Tucker just always being in KD's face, telling him that he's not going anywhere. KD was absolutely baptizing PJ Tucker. KD was absolutely torching PJ Tucker. But PJ Tucker, he knew what his job was. It was trying to slow down Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant is one of the top 5 offensive players ever to grace an NBA court, ever to grab a basketball. But PJ Tucker was in his face the entire series, and even though he was getting cooked, PJ Tucker was still there. And speaking of PJ Tucker's championship experience, in the NBA Finals in 2021, where they went up against the Phoenix Suns, now listen, all these numbers that I'm going to be throwing out to you guys, again, they're not sexy numbers. PJ is not out here averaging 15 and 12, 15 and 8. It's more so in the 2021 Finals, PJ Tucker averaged 4 points, 4 rebounds, and 1 assist. And they beat the Phoenix Suns in 6 games. And if I'm looking at the box score for each game, Game 1, 7 points, 3 rebounds, 2 assists. He was 3 of 6 from the floor, 1 of 2 from three-point line. In the second game, he had 7 points, 5 rebounds, 1 assist, 3 of 5 from the floor, 1 of 1 from three-point line. Game 3, he was 7 points, 3 rebounds with 1 assist, with 2 steals, 3 of 5 from the floor, and 1 of 2 from three-point line. Game 4, he had a donut game with 5 rebounds. He only took 1 shot in that game, and he took 1 three-pointer in that game. Game 5, he had 3 points. He had 1 rebound, 1 assist, 1 steal. He was 1 of 2 from the floor, and he was 1 of 1 from the three-point line. In Game 6, he had a donut again with 6 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 steal. He was 0 for 1 from the field and 0 for 1 from three-point line. So again, PJ Tucker, when you talk about numbers and you talk about the box score, like the numbers are not going to jump out to you. They're not sexy numbers. But PJ Tucker, what he's known for being just a defensive brat. And if the Knicks were to pursue PJ Tucker, him being the 15th man on the roster, he's not really going to be getting any minutes at all. But again, more importantly, what I want to highlight is the knowledge and what he's learned from his NBA career, specifically that 2021 NBA Finals Championship team with the Milwaukee Bucks. The information that he learned winning a championship and what he can give to the rest of the Knicks, to Jalen Brunson, OG, Mikal, Josh Hart specifically. I think besides PJ Tucker being undersized, which is another flaw, not even in his game, it's just the way it panned out. But you got to give respect to PJ Tucker because he's been able to make a career out of just what he has available to him. But I don't know, man. If we were to pursue PJ Tucker for that 15-man spot, I wouldn't be 100% mad at it. It would definitely pay dividends in ways that I don't think we'd be able to know. Now, before I wrap up the video, I do want to talk about another tweet that Ian Begley put out. So the Knicks waived Matt Ryan and Jacob Toppin. But what's the consequence of waiving Matt Ryan and Jacob Toppin? So Matt Ryan and Jacob Toppin were on 2-way contracts, which the Knicks can add 2 players via 2-way contract and have the flexibility to add a player on a traditional deal. The club currently has an open spot on 15-man roster. So why is that important? Besides PJ Tucker, I'm not sure exactly what the contracts look like. But based upon Ian Begley's tweet, it tells us that the Knicks have the flexibility to add a player on a traditional deal. So we don't necessarily have to look at someone for just the veteran minimum. It could be a traditional deal. It could just be something that the Knicks could be looking into, and I think that makes our options a little bit more open, a little bit more wider. But of course, the Knicks could decide to do nothing. Leon Rose and Worldwide West, they could decide to not make a move and really see how this team is going to gel, especially with the reintroduction of Mitchell Robinson. Earlier tonight, Mitchell Robinson's second game against the Miami Heat, looking good. Friday was a season debut against the Memphis Grizzlies. And even though, in my opinion, I don't think Mitchell Robinson is going to fix everything, I don't think he's going to be the end-all, be-all, because we still have a lot of questions, specifically going up against the monsters of Cleveland and Boston. Jalen Brunson would be in trouble, man. Jalen Brunson would be in trouble, and I'm not even using the games that we played against Boston this season as examples. But if you did watch those games, you saw that the Boston Celtics could put Jalen Brunson in absolute hell. They could put him in such a blender of switching everything, putting bigger players, more athletic, stronger than Jalen Brunson, which is something that he looks like he has a really hard time with. Don't even get me started with Cat and the defensive problems that he has when he has to switch, which Boston's 1 through 5, they could put Cat in a switch and just make him look horrible on the defensive end. Cleveland Cavaliers, I'm a little bit more confident with us going up against Cleveland, but that's going to be a series, man. I think I'm officially on we got to start taking Cleveland, not even start. We should have been taking Cleveland serious. I should have, but I think I'm making it official now that Cleveland is going to be, if we end up seeing them in the playoffs in the second round, it's going to be a dogfight. It's going to be a dogfight, and I'm not 100% confident that we're going to be able to get out of that playoff series with a W. But again, going back to Ian Begley's recommendation of taking a look into PJ Tucker, all this stuff is just reports, man. And again, Mitchell Robinson coming back, you never know. The Knicks organization, we might not make a move. We might just ride this out, wait for Mitchell Robinson to get his stamina, his conditioning, his feel for the game back, because the guy's been out for the game for pretty much close to a year, not pretty much a year. Close to a year, Mitchell Robinson has been out the game. So we got to give a little bit of time for Mitchell Robinson to acclimate to everything. But even when he's back, and by the time the playoffs come around and hopefully no hiccups come up with more injuries, I don't know, man. I'm a little worried about how we're gonna be looking and how we're gonna be going up against Cleveland and Boston more specifically. Those two teams are the two teams that can get us out of here. Everybody else, Orlando, Milwaukee, even though Detroit right now, if the playoffs started today, it looks like we're going to be facing Detroit. I still take the Knicks in that. I think that series would probably go 6. I don't think it'll be an easy sweep or gentleman's sweep. Detroit, they're playing for a lot. They're trying to prove a lot to the NBA fans and just the NBA world. But it's just interesting to see what we're gonna do as far with this Ariel Hukporti unfortunate news, to see if we actually try and go after anybody or if we're just gonna try and ride this out with the team that we have. But guys, I want to say thank you so much for checking out this video. Leave it in the comments. Let me know what you guys think about the idea of pursuing a PJ Tucker. Are you guys in the camp of being a little bit optimistic because of what he can offer to the team, the knowledge, the championship experience? Or are you on the complete opposite side of like, nah, we're good. We don't need an undermanned big being an addition to the team. But until next time, you guys know the drill. You guys know the vibes. Queens all day. Queens get the money. Queens get the money long time, no cash. And I'm out, baby. Peace.